On the fence about attending a fitness conference? Stay tuned. Welcome to a new episode within the KIPS podcast. My name is Tyler Valencia, and I am the president and CEO of KIPS. In this episode, we have the owner of Idea Health and Fitness, Amy Boone Thompson. She is going to dive into the evolution of education at fitness conferences, talk about the event that's coming up in July, but also some of the background. How did she come about purchasing Idea Health and Fitness, and why she really wanted to go down that road as a business owner? One topic that I want to expand on more that's featured in this episode is the networking. In this episode, Amy does talk about the education and the great sessions that are involved in this upcoming event, but we also dive into networking. She mentions how she used to go to different conferences and speak with different vendors, grab cards, network, and how that helped her get to her position now with Idea Health and Fitness. I will admit that when I first entered the fitness industry, I was young, naive, and I didn't see the benefit of going to conferences. But now, going, networking, getting cards, you never know when a collaboration will arise. Moving forward, past 2025, the ability to collaborate with different fit pros can really benefit your career, not just in person, but in the digital space. So if you are on that fence, make that leap, make that investment, and hopefully I will see you there as one of the presenters. Let's now get to the episode. Amy, for the listeners, can you give a brief breakdown of how you got into the fitness industry, what you're doing now? I know that's a funny one, saying that you are the owner of Idea, but what you're doing now, how that came about, and really anything that you think our listeners would be interested in.
I'd love to. I think the question is, what am I not doing now? That's not the question.
Yes.
So I was a college athlete. I played basketball and volleyball at the Division I level. And I took the PE and health major. I'm going to date myself, but at my university, we didn't even have kinesiology yet or exercise science.
I've heard that one, yeah.
Yeah. The closest thing I could get was health and PE K through 12. And I thought at the time, I really had no exposure to the fitness or wellness industry. So I thought I would coach basketball, tape ankles. I took an athletic training specialty. So I was going to sit for that. And that was my path. But then right when I was graduating college, I decided to go to a massage therapy school. And so I was going through school and I took my first job as a personal trainer at an all women's club. This is in Chantilly, Virginia, for anyone who knows the area. And that job forever changed my career trajectory because I absolutely fell in love with working with these clients and helping them to really gain more satisfaction out of life. And I thought, if there's anything that I want to be doing in this world, I want to be helping people to improve their well-being. So nice. I started personal training. That took me on a 30-year path of training and then leading training teams. I worked at lots of large club chains as a personal training director, both regional, national, executive leadership. I like to say I had every job in the club because I also was a massage therapist in the club. I ran all the sports leagues in clubs. I worked in the spa, and then I worked at the front desk. I did it all. But that all led me to really this executive leadership role and then preparing me to step into the opportunity when it came to lead Idea.
Mm-hmm. So if you live under a rock, I'm always bad at like the metaphors. And if you live under a rock, Amy is the owner of Idea Conference. And it's honestly one of the conferences that you put at the top of the list for fit pros. In my opinion, that is. I've been to a lot of them and I've spoken at a lot of them. And if you are listening to this podcast, Idea World is coming up and we're going to dive into that more as this episode rolls. But Amy, can you give some insight? I just feel like there'd be a good story for people listening, watching. How did you come about that? How did that even come up? The idea of, I'm going to purchase this fitness conference. How did that come across your desk and how did you get involved?
Well, so at the time when I was found to lead IDEA, I was hired by a private equity group who owned the association. So IDEA World is the convention that's owned
Mhm.
by IDEA Health and Fitness Association. So at our heart, we are an association for the fitness industry. We advocate for fitness professionals, club and studio owners and operators, and we do that by providing their continuing education. We have a magazine called IDEA Fitness Journal, and we do the publication. So to go back to that time, I was hired not only to run IDEA, but I was also running Oxygen Magazine. I
Oh,
was
wow.
working on clean eating, better nutrition. So it was a large media group.
Yeah.
And so I was a little bit out of my comfort zone with all of the media pieces, but really it was truly an opportunity I'd never had prepared myself for or thought would ever come available. And then the pandemic happened 6 months after I started this job. Oh, and here's the funny part. I moved my family back to Southern California to work in IDEA's offices, which are in the Sereno Valley area.
Mhm.
And my one initiative was like, bring the employees back to the office. These California people don't like to make the commute and come in, but you need to rebuild culture. So I was doing the Burrito Fridays. I was trying to get the team motivated and inspired to be in the office. And then the pandemic happened. So my job quickly went to how do I inspire a team of remote workers who work
Uh-huh.
all over the world?
Yeah.
So that was when I raised my hand one day with all the challenges the pandemic brought. I was the face of the company at that point. We had 46 brands in this larger equity group. And I was really the only one with the knowledge of the industry. And we were the only B2B organization within in that portfolio of brands. And so I knew that if IDEA had any chance of continuing on and surviving not only the pandemic, but staying around to be here for Fit Pros in the future, that it had to be me. I was put in that chair for a reason.
Mhm.
And so one day I asked if I could buy the company, and 8 weeks later, I owned it. It
Awesome.
was
No,
fast and
that's
furious.
yeah, it's great. And I think it takes um, a lot of confidence and it takes a lot of vision to make that type of purchase or even make those steps. I think that these days business is run a lot different than 5, 10, 15, 25 years ago. If I was to go back and think about the companies I worked for back when I was entering the fitness industry, they're run a lot different now and it takes a lot. So one, kudos to you for having that vision to do that. And with this episode, there's a lot that we're going to talk about with conferences. And I think setting the stage there was important. I do want to start spicing it up here for our listeners. So I'm going to come out swinging with my first question here about fitness conferences over the last few years. And I will say this is not me. I did not post this, but I remember seeing on social media presenters that I've seen at different conferences posting about, is conferencing dead? With attendance going down at some of them, they would go on and they would start a conversation about, is fitness conferencing dead? And to be honest, hopefully we can uncover some of those things and hopefully provide that type of insight for fit pros that have never thought about attending. But do you think that was more a sign of the pandemic and coming out of that? Or do you think it was a kind of how fit pros are consuming education these days?
So it's interesting when I started conferencing, and by the way, I just get a kick out of
Oh,
you
yeah.
saying conferencing.
I know you like my word. You can use
I
it
know,
if you
I love
want.
it. I love it. So when I was coming up in this industry, the only way to get your education was to order a textbook in the mail or go to learning in person.
Mhm.
In those days, we started recording our sessions and then we started distributing them on CDs. So you could purchase a course on a CD-ROM and it would be sent to your house. Then eventually we went digital. This was before I was with IDEA, but I was a consumer of the product. And that
Mhm.
was how we started getting into the online education business. So even today, IDEA has over 900 courses that are on our ideafit.com platform for learners who are not coming to in-person events or choose not to. So it's been a thing for many years. And it is a crowded space now. There's lots of places where you can get your education and people
Mhm.
have choices. But I
Yeah.
liken this to It's no different than the clients that we serve. These clients have all those same options now. I can have online fitness, on-demand fitness in my house. I can have it on a VHS. I can have it on a CD. I can have it digitally. I can have it on a channel, or I can choose to go to an in-person experience. And they both are different products. They're going to involve more of your senses. There's a different reason you might go to in-person versus having an on-demand workout. And they're all great options. So I don't think that in-person conferencing is dead. I think we always have choices, just like your clients have choices. Do you want to have your fitness at home? Do you want to have it on a boat with a goat? Or do you want to have it in person at a large fitness event? You have choices, and we are still producing in-person events for Fit Pros.
A quick break in this video. If you are needing CEUs, make sure that you head to the link that's in the description, where you can find all our online courses that have pre-approvals with NASM, ISSA, ACE, AFA, NTSF, and with Nesta. We of course offer free content on our YouTube channel, but if you're needing professional ed, with some of them even having the full amount to recertify, make sure you head to that link. And now let's get back to the video. I like that you framed it that way, to be honest, because I think that we, as a society in general, and I don't want to get too much into that whole end of it, but that we sometimes get stuck in this is the only way, or it's white or it's black in terms of colors. And it's like, no, people can have a mix of what they like and how they consume education. And with attending a conference online, in person, there's great benefits with both of them. And as a company, I think it's very important that you are offering and being able to have these options available, because you never know when that day's going to come, when somebody's going to be, okay, I've been coming to the online event. Now I want to come to the in-person. I have built this relationship with this brand, and now I want to make that investment to come to one of the locations. I know the idea travels around. And the fact that you have that outlook on, I think it's very important, just from one business owner to another. With the next question that I'm going to bring up here with the audience, because I think this might help somebody that's in that boat, that they have heard of IDEA, and they've heard about the conference, and they know that it's a big brand out there, it's a big event, and they've just been unsure about it. So something that I struggle with as a business owner is that whole talking to a specific person, an audience member, and I have to reel myself back sometimes. I'm typing out a description for Instagram, and you initially just want to make it broad because you're like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind if a group exercise instructor or a cycling instructor, that they read this and they liked it, and I reel myself back because I have tried to focus more on the personal trainer audience. And I'm just speaking honestly here for the audience here. And so I will take it back and I will retype it up. For you all at IDEA, is there an ideal customer that you were trying to speak to, that when you're typing out a description or you're putting out an email blast, is there that ideal person or a demographic?
Great question. So when you come to the event, we know this year there's over 175 sessions. So we want to help you maximize your learning to get the most out of the event. So we organize the content into like a business track, a science and theory track. Then we have techniques. And then on top of that, everything is organized into workouts, workshops, or lectures. And they all have different continuing education values. So to go back to your original questions, we do produce content for every fitness professional at our event. And no matter your modality, you're going to find that the business skills are for everybody. The cueing, communication, those are for every Fit Pro. No matter if you're teaching on a Pilates reformer or if you're teaching on a BOSU, those are things that everybody can learn from and upskill and up-level.
Nice.
But we do have a smaller conference that's called Personal Trainer Institute. And that one now is an on-demand event. So that one used to be in Alexandria. And since we started our collaboration with American College of Sports Medicine, we flipped that event to on-demand. But we do that one is more for seasoned veteran personal trainers. And then the ACSM event, interestingly, has been a great complement to the clinical professional that ACSM draws. And our audience is more of the fun squad, I would say. So we make a good pair. But yeah, Idea World is for every Fit Pro and also club and studio owners and operators. And the best experience you can have if you are an operator with your top talent going to the show together. That is the ultimate experience, because then you can divide and conquer and you can share best practices back to each other and you can walk the trade show together. So there's a lot of value in doing it as a team.
Yeah, I at different conferences that I've spoken at and speaking to teams, that they come at as either a team building activity, and you're meeting the fitness director, you're meeting somebody from the group fitness team, and you're meeting the trainers, and they're all over the place trying to figure out what can benefit their club, their facility, moving forward. So I like that you brought that up. And something that you just mentioned with ACSM, that's a good segue here to my next question here. As listeners, if they have already listened to the podcast that I have done on licensure with one of the individuals at ACSM, Francis and Eric, we had a really in-depth deep dive into it. It's a 2-part podcast for those that might be interested in it. And in there, the topic of potentially internships or apprenticeships, and a way to kind of give people insight into the field without having to invest too much, that was brought up. And this next question, do you think that idea of the conference, that there's benefit in for somebody that's just an enthusiast at the moment, and whether they're a personal trainer or a group exercise instructor? Do you think that if they're not there to get CEUs, that they can find something that might interest them to make that step?
Absolutely. So we're considered a B2B to C event. And what I mean by that is, like, primarily we're working with personal trainers who own or operate their own businesses or work for other brands. But we also know that we bring in a lot of those front row students, we call them, in your classes, the avid enthusiasts, fitness enthusiasts who are contemplating a career in fitness or could see themselves having a career in fitness. In fact, we do a whole career discovery day on Saturday where we welcome in for free. We curate a track for high school students and college students who have yet to commit to even taking a certification or getting a job in fitness. And what we do there is we introduce them. We bring in professionals who tell their career stories and tell how they navigated, their college experience to get to where they are, to eventually get to where they are today. And so, I think the people who come in who may not have committed to the industry yet, you get a sample, you get a taste, you get to interact with all these other professionals who, by the way, the energy is unreal at these events. And that's what you cannot get online is the energy that we bring and the hugs and the sweat. You can't get those online, but that's all there in person. And so those are some of the advantages. But if you're an enthusiast and you come and experience this, you're going to want to be around these people and create a lifestyle for yourself that's healthy and that where you can help other people be healthy.
Yeah. A topic that I've spoken in different videos for the KIPS YouTube channel, and I'm doing a name drop here. One of my professors from college, Dr. Jan Schroeder, she was on the KIPS podcast recently. And one of the things that she brought up in terms of personal trainer turnover, there we go, was about not understanding the realities, but also the profession of being a personal trainer. Mm-hmm. And I think that there might be some mix in there moving forward of internships or hands-on experience prior to becoming one of these professions in the fitness industry that can hopefully help out with the turnover rate. And I think what you mentioned with all these programs there, I think that is a good way to hopefully understand the realities of this profession, because I think sometimes people come in and they don't understand that you have to do sales. That's a very big part of this profession, or you have to communicate face to face, and you have to be good at it really quickly. And so I think that more opportunities for those types of experiences, seeing what the profession is about, I think that could be very helpful. What do you think?
Totally agree. And those are a lot of the things we're teaching at World. So that's how we're elevating fitness professionals is seasoned veterans come in and teach them, like, this is what you can expect in your first 6 months. This is how you get past your first year. Okay, so now you have 3 clients, but you're trying to grow a full clientele. Can you get to that next level? So we're teaching those both online and in our events. And I think, we'll get to the network. I know the networking is just huge at these events, but these professionals or contemplative professionals are coming in and they're building a network who is going to help them and hold their hand. It's one of the sad things about our profession is oftentimes if you don't work in a club, it can be very isolating, just like a lot of jobs, especially if you work from your home or your garage and you get into this rut of just not feeling inspired. And so when you build this network of, we call it our fit family, but when you build your fit family around you, these are the people who lift you up, who motivate you, who help you stay inspired so you can then inspire your clients. That's another huge benefit of getting introduced to the industry even before you get certified.
Yeah. Let's dive into that a little bit deeper there. I think that is one of the big benefits of attending a conference, an in-person conference, is that networking opportunity. I joked, recently came on the Idea Fit Pro show, and I joked about how I was bad at this, and I admit it, that I didn't have my business cards ready. And that is one of like the yearly things. It's on my checklist before I go to any conference. It's put business cards in my bag. And so I have to take them out of my desk and put them into my bag, my conference bag. And I think that the networking opportunities is huge. What are some tips that you would give for a general Fit Pro to make sure that they get the most of the networking?
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm very serious about my networking. This is something that I take very seriously. And now I'm going to add that with my conferencing 101 checklist.
Oh, man.
So here's how you do it well and you do it right. First, you study the program as you're picking your classes. You're circling not only the classes and subject matter that you want to attend and learn from, but who are the presenters that you want FaceTime with? Even if you can't get into their classrooms or you're at a different session at that time, you're going to be on elevators with these Fit Pros, these people that you look up to, that you want to have conversations with, like, how did you get in the industry? How did you overcome these challenges? And these presenters want to talk to you. And so that's the biggest thing is study who do you want to get in front of, get into their classrooms, find a way, email them. Now, I mean, I had used to call people back in the day, like, hello, will you be at World? But now you can just email someone and say, I would love 10 minutes of your time. Can I treat you to coffee on Thursday morning at Idea World? And I know they would say yes. They'd be so excited. So that's just presenters. Then think about all of the exhibitors that you want to meet. And so there's hundreds of exhibitors in these expos, and I used to go booth to booth to booth. I called myself a trade show ho fondly because I get around to every single booth. And the reason I did that was because I knew, even in my early 20s, I knew that the person behind that table is not always going to work for that company. That person is going to go on to have another job who might be hiring. Or in this case, like, that's how I was put in a position to get the job to run Idea, was because I had networked for 25 years consistently. And I built relationships in the industry. And those people who worked for those brands went on to run other brands. And eventually they go on to own companies. And eventually they go on to hire other people. So you want to meet everybody at those booths because they have products and services that can help your business. But more importantly, it's the relationships that you make. If you're intentional about maintaining those relationships, these are going to be people that help you through your whole career.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I like that one that you mentioned there with the exhibitors. And I'm going to give an example here that I'm working on right now. I know that I'm going to do some more name dropping. Ruben Perea, he is going to be there. He's somebody that actually went to the same college as me, and him and I have been talking about doing some work together. And what I'd messaged him this week, it was, we should definitely grab a bite to eat, but also let's see if we can film some content together. 2025. It's all about making content. What content can we make at an event, seeing that him and I do not live in the same state? how can we take advantage of the opportunity to be in the same city, same conference, that we can take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, film a reel, film some content for social media. And I bring that idea because maybe you are an individual content creator, you're a fit pro, and all of a sudden you see one of the companies that you like is going to be at the event. Take that opportunity to approach the owner or talk to them or potentially get hands-on with some of those products. One of the ideas, I'm just speaking out loud here because I do this with my own Naboso products, is that maybe you know that Naboso is going to be at IDEA, so I'm going to go over to the booth. I'm going to go on their balance trainer or their toe spacers, or I'm going to talk with the owner, get some content with them, and all of a sudden now you can create content for social media, do a collaborative tag, and boom, now you're growing your audience. Built that out just in this podcast episode.
100%. And yes, Naboso will be there. And the founder, Dr. Emily Splishall's teaching. She'll be in the booth. Ruben will be there. Everybody who's anybody in the fitness industry will be there. And that's another tip. Like you could call it fake it till you make it. But I always learned, like, even before social media existed, if you align yourself with a brand that's bigger than you, like Idea World, like the club I used to work at, then you just tag along with their media and their presence and their platform because you're a part of that. When you come to Idea World, it signals to the universe that you are a learner and that you're growing and I recorded with Ruben yesterday. He said, I'm elevating. And I loved that because that's exactly right. People who conference are elevating. It's not just what you know in your head. It's the connections and relationships that you're making and you're vibrating at a higher level.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And it's so true with being a professional in the industry. Yes, doing it, trying to do it on your own could work, but when you can collaborate, and that is a big difference these days with social media, but also I like just tagging along with your idea or what you were mentioning there with tagging on with another brand. Brands are very willing to work with you on content because they understand in this market these days that if you are creating content for them and on social media, talking about collaborative tag, if you are going into their audience and they're going into your audience, reverses, they're going to be coming into yours as well. And so that type of marketing is very popular these days. You're going to be influencing, they're going to be influencing. There's a lot going on there. And I just think that that is a great reason for those fit pros out there that are in that mindset of, let me create some content. Here is an event that I can network with different brands and hopefully continue to grow as they grow. So I like that we dove into that there. With education, we're going to circle back to education. Got to talk about all that good stuff there. How has conference education evolved over the last 10 years? I always think that that's a fascinating topic. I've had, I was about to say a handful, but it's maybe I've had 3 different conference owners on the KIPS podcast. How has conference education evolved?
So I didn't listen to those episodes, so I hope I offer a unique perspective. I think one of the biggest shifts we've seen in the last 10 years, this was regardless of the pandemic, that professionals are not usually a discipline of one thing anymore. Most professionals, in order to make a living or to stay in the industry and keep themselves curious, are dabbling in different modalities, or they're doing one-on-ones, also small groups, large groups. They might train in home, they might train in a club. Everybody's doing this in a hybrid way. So I think because of that, we've had to think about the content with that persona in mind. And so as I talked about earlier, there's something on the program for everybody, but now individuals like personal trainers aren't just doing personal training. They're doing a lot of other things. They're working large group, small group, they're working TRX, they're doing different modalities, they're doing in-home, in-office. So when you think about all those variables, we want the education to help to meet the persona of that professional. So there's that. We also see now that many more of our professionals are independent solopreneurs. They run their own businesses and They may work alone, they may work in a very small practice, but they don't necessarily work for a company. A company's not sending them to the event. They're coming to the event on their own business and their own tax write-off and their own dollars to invest in themselves. So we want to give that solopreneur lots of education to help keep them in business and thriving. That's another big shift over the last 10 years. And that was more motivated by the pandemic. I would say we saw a big shift from I'm a W-2 employee to, oh no, I'm my own business owner.
Spot on.
Yeah, so that was another shift.
Let's do some promotion here. What are some sessions that you would recommend for people listening that are in that space?
Oh my goodness. I did not pull a specific session out of the hat, but I can tell you that Dr. Schroeder actually created our program this year. So I'm going to give a plug for her. And she actually used to work for IDEA back in the day. I don't know if that was a fun fact. I don't know if most people know. So she used to do this full time for IDEA. And now we brought her back to create the program this year. So we get thousands of submissions, you should know. And I know you're on the program this year, and it's a huge, huge honor. I remember the first time I got selected to be on IDEA's program, like I thought I had arrived. I was like, this was my biggest goal ever, as to be a presenter on IDEA's stage. It is the largest stage in the world for teaching fitness professionals. So when you get on IDEA's stage, it's an honor and it's a challenge, and you got to up your game, right? But the content, when you talked about business content, Dr. Schroeder deliberately picked sessions that would help in the business segment. I apologize, I didn't pull a specific session.
It's okay.
But I
put
could
you on
tell
the
you
spot there.
Some of the amazing presenters, like Tyler.
Yes, and that would be a good one. Good way for me to plug my session here is to talk about
your
it.
Sessions.
With my session, I am going to be one of the ones I'm really jazzed about is how aqua fitness can fit into a personal trainer's routine. I think honestly, if you are a personal trainer and taking your clients to the pool, it just elevates your business. And if you are working in a facility, whenever other members are going to be walking around and they see you training clients in the pool, they're going to be scratching their head like, oh my God, like that's possible? Like I can do that? And all of a sudden you're going to be that trainer that people are the go-to trainer for that type of session. And the reason that I also tag on to this is that if you are training clients in the pool, not only is it fun, your clients are going to love it, but if you want to now add in recovery days, the pool is a great way to put your clients through a full body workout. They're going to be feeling better. They're going to feel energized, but that is another session rendered every single week. Every additional session that you are rendering, more sales, more money in your pocket. So that was not part of this original script for the podcast, but you lobbed one up.
Plug away.
It was a little underhand toss to me, and I had to do it. And so we're gonna keep that in there on the edit. So I'm going to move now to some quick hits. With quick hits on the podcast, it's something I've been trying out, and I've been liking the responses that we've been getting. Sometimes they're spicy, sometimes they're not. Up to the guest, how they want to take them. So these are initial reactions, and some of these Amy does know the question, some of them she doesn't. So we will see how this goes. First one.
Decline? No, just kidding.
Now you're going to make me have to edit that. I'm just joking.
No, keep it spicy. Keep it spicy.
Here we go. Quick hit number one. Fitness conference is declining.
I think you're the dying professional sitting at home missing out on all the fun, to be honest. We're still doing them. We're still bringing together thousands of fitness professionals. If you think they're dying, your business is probably dying. I would challenge that.
I like that. And what I have mentioned before in different podcasts is how I was in that boat as a new personal trainer years ago. This had to be around 2011, 2010. I didn't believe it. I had opportunities, as I mentioned before, Dr. Schroeder, and I know I'm going to get an email after this episode goes out. Tyler, you mentioned me in the podcast, and but I'll wait. I'm going to wait for it from Dr. Schroeder. I'm going to be very excited when it comes in. But she would give opportunities to students to go to the IDEA, and I never took advantage because I didn't understand. And I didn't understand the benefits of all the things that we've talked about in this episode. And if you are in that boat, you're listening to this podcast and you're wondering, I don't know if it's for me, I would give it a shot 100%, make the investment. Amy already mentioned the tax write-off for it. There are so many other benefits that moving forward in the next 5 years, you can take advantage of. You can take advantage of. Quick hit number 2 here. Which skill is most critical to a new personal trainer's career? Sales or soft skills?
Soft skills.
Why is that?
If you can relate to someone, you can help solve their problems. You can present problem-solving solutions, but more importantly, it's going to come across from an authentic, genuine way. If you take sales training and you don't have soft skills, you'll come across as pushy and aggressive. But if you have soft skills before you learn sales, you'll come across as really empathetic and that you can help someone because you'll truly believe that. And you'll know that. You'll have the confidence.
I like it. Next one here. And this will be a ranking. Okay. So for a new attendee, how would you rank the following? Networking opportunities, panel discussions, and the exhibitor hall.
Okay, so networking is a 10 out of 10. It's the thing, it's a must, and it will happen organically, but it can be deliberate and intentional, like I talked about before. Expo, I'll jump to Expo. Expo, I think it's invaluable. You're going to see all the latest trends, innovations. Like I said, you can meet all the people that represent those brands. You can get your collaborations going with those brands. So to me, it was a 10, but I worked it. I worked that event. I worked the show. And then as far as panels, we actually don't do a lot of panels. So I'm going to give that a lower score. And the reason is because those are harder for us to get CEC credits for. Mm-hmm. When we produce these events, this is another actually really big advantage I want to point out. If you are getting continuing education online, you have to complete a quiz to show that you learned the material. You'll do a quiz if you read an article from IDEA or anywhere else. You'll do a quiz if you take a course. If you come to an event, you don't have to take any quizzes. You just attend the events. You're there in person. You get your CEC. So that's a huge advantage. And all of our presenters and all of our material has to go through the scrutiny of 26 plus certifying agencies. So you can be rest assured it's gold standard content and that every presenter and every standard meets the learning objectives. But what you won't see is a lot of panels, a lot of fluff, and then workouts don't give you CECs because there's no learning. It's just the sweating. So there.
Yeah. I like it. A little behind the scenes for listeners as well, which I like. And that question, I threw it in there because as a new attendee, there is so much going on. If this is your first time and you're listening or thinking about it, there is so much going on. Where do you invest your time, your energy? Because they are long days. And so getting some insight into where these things kind of rank, that can hopefully help you with putting your time in different areas while you do attend a conference. So good stuff there. We're going to move now to our podcast takeaways. And this is, with this one, hopefully, I know we dove a lot into conferencing and we hit on a lot of them, but I'm hoping there's something else that we can just pull out that we didn't mention already and give that person on the fence just one more opportunity to, hey, I'm going to go actually click that link in the description and I'm going to sign up. With today's podcast takeaway, what are 3 overlooked benefits of attending a fitness conference?
Okay, so I'm going to double down on networking, but I'm going to tell you about one more experience at this event that is not to be missed. We do an opening ceremony. This year, it's combined with the Academy Awards of Fitness, the IDEA Fitness Awards, and the welcome party. And we're calling it the Golden Gala. And that's in honor of California being the Golden State, and we are at the state capitol. So this is the most fun you will ever have with your fitness friends and family. First of all, the awards and the speakers, everything is so inspiring that you walk away feeling fulfilled and rejuvenated. But then the dancing and the partying and just letting loose with other like-minded professionals in the industry and having a blast, to be honest. We work out all day, we dance all night. That is where the best networking happens, to be honest. So doubling down on networking.
I dig it.
Second biggest takeaway is that I talked about building relationships at these events with the presenters or the exhibitors or the other attendees. You're going to get a chance to meet so many people across the 4 days. And so the biggest takeaway is then you go home, you find them on Insta, find them on LinkedIn, you send them an email to solidify the relationship, you follow up with them, and you find those ways to collaborate. So we talked about collaborating at the event, but remember, like, that's just the beginning. You get to collaborate ongoing, and these are going to be people that will absolutely change your life and your career.
Take it one more.
And the third takeaway, we're in Sacramento. We are next door to Napa and Sonoma, for heaven's sakes. Add on a day. Have a great time. I'm planning to do that. I'm so excited to be up there. We have morning workouts outside. You'll get to experience Sacramento, go on the Riverwalk. Lake Tahoe is just up the street. It's called the Farm to Fork capital, because this is where most of our food is grown. And the city offers so many wonderful, wonderful adventures and cuisine and wine. So I would say that's the third takeaway. Go to Sacramento this year. Treat yourself.
I dig it. And when you were mentioning the gala event and the awards, I had to jog my memory quickly to think about how many past winners have been on the KIPS podcast. We've had Amy Nicotera, Dr. Schroeder, and Ruben Perea, all in the last year on the KIPS podcast, who have all won various awards with ideas. So we're very lucky.
Now, me, I was a leader of the year.
There we go.
After Jan or before? Before Jan, but the same award. But yeah, before I ran the company. It wasn't fixed.
Fourth. Now we got 4. Before we sign off, social media, website, deadlines that you want to throw out.
Yes. Okay, so go to ideafit.com. You'll see our live events tab at the top. There you can find Idea World, everything you need to know. The event is in Sacramento, July 17th through the 19th. We have early bird rates going on right now, so you'll still get early bird rate. Also, for your listeners, Tyler, I'm going to give you a discount code. They can grab that and they can use it to get even more money off because we want you there. Do not let cost be an obstacle. Sacramento is very affordable, easy to get to. You don't need a car. Everything's manageable. So ideafit.com, register now. The other benefit of registering early is you pick your sessions when you register, and these classes will fill up and sell out. So you've got to get in early to pick your sessions. It's one cost for all 4 days, and then you go in and you pick your sessions and you get to go. Our social handles are IdeaFit across all of the different platforms, and mine are Amy Boone Thompson. Boone is my maiden name. So Amy Boone Thompson, IdeaFit, and we'd love to connect with you. So come be part of our community.
Great. And those will be in the description for this episode, whether you are watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or if you just found this on the landing page, there will be links to easily click over. Amy, thank you for taking the time to come on the KIPS podcast, share all this great insight into fitness conferencing, and hopefully our listeners take advantage of all the insight that you mentioned.
My pleasure. Thank you.